Hello and welcome to another edition of KJ's Corner. I'm your host, Kyle John Fenton, but I go by KJ. This is under the I'm Breaking Into Tech umbrella. If you're listening to this for the first time, our founder, Aaliyah Olds, created this to help you break into technology. Speaking of breaking into technology, we have someone that I actually met on LinkedIn, like most people that I pull onto this podcast, because I don't try to pull all my buddies, but hey, the spoil system is how the world works. This is Maher. We were actually just talking about how you would say that, Maher Salhani. He's actually now a solutions consultant at ServiceNow, and we're going to round out the whole conversation about his journey there. But before we get into any of that, Maher, how you doing, man? How are things?
I'm doing great, man. Just had a great weekend celebrating my daughter's birthday. She
Nice.
actually, yeah, I mean, she turned 16. That's crazy.
Dude, oh my, dude, 16. Dude, my little girl is literally 2 months old, and I look at her every day, and I'm like, I love you so much. And now I'm like, you just put 16 in my head. I'm like, oh my God, like boys, girl, or whatever, girls, who cares? But like people eventually dating and taking this girl. No, that's not.
Oh man, yeah. It's scary. That whole dating world, I mean, I've
Sure,
been
man.
teaching her how to drive, and she's got her test on Wednesday. So
Oh
we're freaking
wow.
out a little bit. You know what I mean?
Is she good? Is she okay?
Oh yeah. I mean, we've put the hours in,
Okay.
a lot of parallel
Like
parking.
mastery level, 10,000 hours, you know?
I mean, it drives like a Tesla. Yeah, she drives like a Tesla. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Is that what she's gonna take the test in? A Tesla?
No. Just good old Honda Accord. You know what I mean?
There you go,
2007.
buddy. Yeah, we got a Civic that's in the driveway. I'd be like, you're gonna take that because we're gonna keep it in tip-top shape. Work from home, it's kind of nice. I don't drive the cars very much, so
Nice.
tip-top shape. Paid off 2017 Honda Civic sitting in the
That's the
driveway.
way to
I
go.
like that.
That is the way to go.
I think we'll be all right. As you know, as a dad now, you've been around the sun, been around the block a little bit, right? It's got 78,000 miles right now, and we barely drive. You think it's gonna make it? I think it'll
Oh,
make it.
absolutely. Keep up with those oil changes and tire
Always
rotations.
synthetic, baby. And people call me crazy, but I always bring it back to the dealership that I bought it from.
That's impressive. That's impressive. I mean, they keep it in top shape. They
Hell
they
yeah, they do.
charge an arm and a leg once in a while,
They
but
do. Oh, they
but
do. They do. But guess
top
what? They know exactly what's right and what's wrong with that car. Oh, and by the way, if you bring it to the dealership when you do want to trade it in, they sweeten the deals.
Yeah. Oh, they'll give you a great deal, especially if you've
Oh
been
my,
with them for a while. Oh, they love
yeah.
you.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just traded in our we had a Jeep. We went to Lake Norman here. Yeah, if you're in Charlotte and you listen to this, Lake Norman, by the way, I'm not even plugging. I'm not any of this. They're great, right? But we went in with our Jeep and they ended up I think we had it was a 2016 Wrangler Sport. Had around I think it was close to like 70 something miles on it. They still gave us like 17 grand on the
Woo.
trade-in for that, right? And I was like, okay, like so Jeep one retained their value, but like that was higher than what they know. Like they literally showed us. They're like, we normally offer 14. And I know they can say that at the dealerships and blah blah blah, but they showed us the blue book. They're like, this is what the trade-in is. Like we want you to take this other one that we had. And of course, we walk up and it's this big old lifted, Jeep, whatever. And it was used. The person drove before, just whatever. But we walked out and I was like, oh, that's such a sweet deal. I know 2000 is negligible when you're talking in absolutes like that, but to that point, I'm crazy. Bring it to the dealership every time, but we've had no issues with our cars at all, like none.
That's good, man. Yeah, if it's not broken, why try to fix it? Why try to reinvent the
See,
wheel?
that's a technologist answer. That's a great segue into what this whole episode is about. While we're talking about cars and all this, I swear to God, I didn't plan this, by the way. And I know it sounds like great, but the reason I brought Maher on was, he's a solutions consultant at ServiceNow. ServiceNow, if you don't know what it is, look it up. You'll know it really quick. It's ITSM. It's a great company. I'll be honest with you, right? What do you guys own in terms of market share in terms of that in that space? Do you know offhand?
Ooh, yeah, I mean, Fortune 500 companies were about 87% of those companies.
Yeah,
so,
right, like big deal. I don't know what that number is, but it's probably like it's a double-digit number in terms of like market share percentage, right? So, bring all up to say it's like eventually as people try to break into the space, they choose these big companies. You got someone here who actually works for one of them, right? I know I work at Salesforce, but I also work at MuleSoft, and people don't necessarily correlate MuleSoft to Salesforce because it's the automation subsidiary. You're at ServiceNow, you're working for it, which is great. But I want to pull you back. We're talking about cars. I know it's facetious, but in all seriousness, you actually started, if I read your title on your LinkedIn here, you were actually a master technician and electrical specialist at BMW. So you actually know how to work on cars, which is really cool. And then it looked like you were also doing project development for your church at the same time, which is super, super cool. But doing that, you did that for about 7 years, which is dope. And then they moved into, looks like auto service and sales. Is that your family's auto center?
It is, yeah. They own a dealership on the East Coast. It's a little mom and pop dealership and a mechanic shop attached.
So what was so walk us through that, right? So you worked on cars, right? Get that. So that's just, real quick, favorite car you worked on, just offhand.
Ooh, I'll say 2001 XJS 12-cylinder Jaguar. I mean,
okay, XJS.
Yeah,
12-cylinder.
12-cylinder. Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know too much about cars, but I like the way it looks. So, oh shit, okay, nice.
I think it's a nightmare to work on, but I got to drive it for a while, so it's the heaviest and fastest thing you'll ever jump into.
That's crazy. Is it like, does it have like a ton of torque, I assume, to like get up to where it needs to, or
it's actually more of a top speed car because it's so heavy. I mean, it's got some kick.
That's true. Yeah, it takes
a while to get up there. I mean, by today's standards, that thing is slow as dirt. But
sure, but like,
love that thing when I was 16. Yeah,
you want to understand like speeds? Put on like Gran Turismo from like PlayStation, and you'll like you like understand what we're talking about.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's cool. Okay, so you did all that. Let's go to the sales part. Let's talk about the tech. That's why we're here. It's super dope, though. It's so cool. You worked on cars, and now you're like in the tech space. I love that. I love that for you. So you did the auto service and sales. What were some of the things that you learned, as a sales manager? Because I'm envisioning, right, that's probably a role that's like multiple hats out the wazoo in comparison to what a normal sales manager would do. So like, what were you doing for your family there? Because I bet you they were probably like, Maher, like, what do you want to do here? Like, how, like, walk us through that whole journey, and then eventually what you saw that pushed you to Pre-Sales Academy, and move on. Love to hear that.
Absolutely. So my dad actually hit his head, and he got a subdural hematoma, had to get brain surgery. So I moved back
to man. People with fucking trauma in their lives just succeed. Oh, man. Wow. Sorry, I don't mean to diminish that, but just wow.
No, dude.
Right off the bat. Okay. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
100. And I had to move back. My younger brother, he's like, I don't know if I can run this. So I literally moved my family back to the East Coast, jumped in. And the number one thing, I mean, no one trusts a salesperson, bro. And on top of it, no one trusts a mechanic these days. I mean, they have a lot of leeway in their field, and it was tough. So coming in for me, I said, how can we remove those bottlenecks, those barriers? And so for our sales department, what we did is, when we got a car, we sold kind of high-end foreign cars, Jaguars, Mercedes, Range Rover, things like that.
So so it's cool. You stayed in, little side note there on a side tangent, you stayed in the industry. You stayed in what you knew, it seems, to some degree, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah. Doing some sales, doing some repairs as well. So basically, when we bring a car in, everything that needed to be done, and then everything that we didn't do that it still needed to be done, we put that on a one sheet and put that right on the side windshield. So clarity for the customer, so they can see. And then when the repairs came around, you would tell a customer, hey, this is what it needs. They're like, how do I know that that's what it actually needs? So what we instituted was we had an iPhone for every bay, and you take a video of what it actually needs, if there was a leak, if there was a broken part or whatever, and then we show you that. And then if you agree, we fix it and then show you the actual repair on video as well and hand that to you. When we did that,
amazing.
It changed everything. And I mean, if you go look at the Google reviews or whatever, I mean, it's like 700 plus, and you're at 4.0 stars.
You better update your LinkedIn, by the way, dude. Well, you said increased customer ratings, but dude, you said you had 4.8 stars with 608 reviews in 2 years. First off, by the way, if you're putting something on a resume or a LinkedIn line item, you said, what did you do? You increased it, you added the data points with numbers, and you gave a time frame, right? You can see why that's important, right? Like, love that. And like, I'm even looking at like, you literally, even if people had no clue and they were trying to just yank your chain, bullshit you, whatever, right? If you show them exactly what it is, now the burden of proof's on them to say, does this not what it needs? Because I'd love for you to tell us otherwise, right? Because you're already here. Like, it's genius. It's brilliant. I think that's a good testament to anyone who's like trying to like break into like sales. Yeah, you want to know what sales is? Showing people the problem they actually have and how you solve it. That's what it is. That's what you did.
Absolutely. Because I a lot of ways, man, I hate being sold to. You know what I mean? Especially someone I don't trust.
Same.
They can't build that trust.
I'm the worst person to sell to. You can't do it. Like, I'm like, I don't need your shit. I already know what you got. Like, exactly. I'm sorry, I don't need it. So you do this for a few years, and obviously, I'm assuming your father was okay by this point. It's a happy ending.
Yeah, he came out fine.
Let's have that for sure. Okay, yeah, because you're just like, yeah, hit his head, and we're like, well, what the fuck happened? All right, so he's good there. All right, so daddy's taken care of. That's awesome. Okay, yeah, so I'd really love to see, because then it looks like you took this management consultant gig with Thriving Culture, and it looks like you're doing more. It looks like this is a little bit of some enablement type work where you do it. It looks like you took that in tandem until eventually it looks like you dropped the auto service. What pushed you to the management consultant gig? Because I think that's going to be your start into obviously the tech world. What was it that you like? Was it just not enough working for the family? Did you want more? Like, what was it pushing you to take that move?
I knew early on I wanted to move back to California with my family.
Okay.
All three of my kids were born here. We spent 10 years here. And I was like, I love the East Coast. It was home. It's no longer home. So I started planning my exit, and my brother was going to take over the family business. So they're like, what? You don't want to stay with us? You don't want part of the money that?
Oh yeah, the family pressure. Yeah,
I would love to, but I kind of got my own thing. So I said, I need to make this, remote. So what do I do? So I started, a lot of my church work was working with multiple partners, a dozen partners locally, globally, doing a lot of
really what work. Like project development management at like any not-for-profit is. It's just your relationship building. Like you have different titles, but like one of my mentors, way back in the day, she was the director of development for Special Olympics. And I was like, you're just a relationship manager. She's like, yeah, pretty much. I'm like, okay. So
100. And so working for a large organization, because it was kind of a mega church, and you learn a lot of that maneuvering that you need. So having my partner who also worked there previously, we said, why don't we put a company together and help companies figure out what they need?
Sick. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So along the way, I said, why don't we add some tech to this? And for me, I knew cloud was just blowing up. I mean, GCP, Azure, AWS were pouring billions into the cloud. So I said, that needs to be my next field, but I have nothing except my BMW certifications, and that doesn't fully translate, so
that's why I'm Google Cloud certified in your LinkedIn now, huh? I'm looking at it right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was
I know I'm trolling, but like
it was a tough transition, but I said, I think this could be part of our business. So I went out, got my cloud architect certification in GCP, and we started taking on clients, kind of helping them from on-prem to the cloud. Lifting, shifting, taking some of the apps that they could use or some that they couldn't and replacing them. So had some success there. But what we realized along the way was I wanted to be playing at a higher field, at a bigger field, and I wanted to jump into Gen AI. And I couldn't do that in the
I remember talking about that. Yeah. You reach out about RPA and you're like, what is it for real, KJ? Give me the skinny. We had our conversation. I'm not going to delve into it on this podcast, but we had the chat, and I was like, yeah, I think it's the move for sure. Yeah, continue. Sorry, I remember having the chat about that. Yeah.
No, and part of my chat with you really helped solidify kind of the direction I wanted to go in.
You're welcome. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate it because the two companies I was really looking at was UiPath, Salesforce, and ServiceNow. ServiceNow was up there, with number one because they were pushing Gen AI so hard, still are. So I decided to kind of focus my time on that, but realized that I also needed some, to build that foundation. So that's where I jumped into the pre-sales academy.
Yeah, because I was looking at it and I was like, because I remember when we talked about it, I was like, okay, dude's like. I know you're a little bit older, right, than me. I guess I shouldn't say a little bit older. You still look fantastic, right? But older than me, right? I'm still a kid. I'm only 30, right? So like when I looked at it, I was like, okay, so he's been around the block a little bit, and like you had all the skills, but would you say that the tech wasn't enough and you needed to actually understand that B2B motion a little bit more? Would you say that that's what PSA gave you? Because I haven't necessarily, I'll be honest, like I didn't take the boot camps. I've seen a lot of people not have success with it, but the more I've seen, I feel like a lot of people didn't necessarily know how to take the knowledge. It seems like you did. So I guess two-pronged question here. One, is that what you did it for, to give you a little bit more of that B2B coaching, messaging, so on and so forth? And then 2, like, why were you able to be successful, and why do you think others aren't? Because I think people might benefit to hear that.
Sure. Yeah. I think PSA, I went in to kind of build a network that I didn't have.
Sure. Another reason to do it. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
And what I actually learned, because in the consulting company we had, we were doing everything from RFP to implementation. I mean, and everything.
That's full blown solutions consultant, management consultant work. So yeah, like, you've done it all.
Done it all. But if I'm being honest, I got something from PSA that I didn't expect, and that was the demo and disco, and the way they do it. I mean, I'm not trying to plug them, but I mean, it was great for me because
it's good. It's a good methodology. I mean, like, I understand all the terms too. I didn't go through the camp, but like, I've seen it work. It's like, okay, that's really good. I think you got to apply the product context, but at least it gives you it gives you the, the how to, which is important.
Absolutely. And what it, excuse me, where it makes the difference is they give you a coach and a mentor and an advisor, and they run you through discos and demos over and over and over again. And
hammer them. Yeah, which is a way to do it. Yeah.
They start you with 5 minutes and they work all the way up to an hour. You know what I mean? So
hour-long demo.
And that was essential. That was essential, man. I think that.
Yeah, but you have to go through the ringer. Yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So that allowed me to go to the next step. But I will say this, the 4 cohorts before me, the economy had tanked. Tech was laying people off. You know what I mean? The hiring freezes, all of that.
Yeah, you came out. Yeah, for context, you were in it looks like July to December of 2023, right? So year-wise, just so people can understand, where Maher's coming from. Yeah, sorry. Just want to add context. That's all.
No, thank you. Yeah, that helps. It was rough, man. The 3 cohorts before me, a lot of people were struggling to get roles.
And maybe that's my perspective. Yeah, because that's when I kind of jumped into this game where I was having conversations with people, and I'm like, well, why isn't that hitting? That doesn't make any sense. And then I realized, and I'm sure you've seen this too, where it helped you was, I'm sure you see it now, even with the solution engineers that you work with, we're all really good. like we're not it is wild to me, the talent that I've worked with, even at like UiPath, like alone as like a startup. Like, it's these big company. Well, UiPath's not a big company, but they're big in terms of like where they play in their space. But either way, like a Salesforce, I mean, if you make it to that level, you're really good. And like, it's just another notch. And I couldn't explain that to people. I couldn't explain that, like, if you're going in and you have more certifications, but someone's got 20 years in the biz, dude, they don't have to come in and be coached on what to do in the role. They understand they got to update a CRM. They understand they got to, they're probably going to have to be responsible for RFPs. They understand they're going to have to do enablement. Like, these are things that you're learning as you're trying to break in. And it's really hard to explain that to people. Seems like that helped you.
100. And I will, Yeah, I've been on a lot of calls and people asking me, because I open myself up, to almost anyone.
Oh, dude, yeah, you were an open book with me. I love that. It was fantastic. Yeah,
because there's so many people struggling right now, and they want to know, what do I need to do? And this is what I say, man. You need to be willing to do the things that most people are not willing to do.
Yeah.
And for me, having a family, man, I have 3 kids. They're 16, 14, and 12.
Oh man, you went back to, man, stop saying that stuff, man. I'm trying to hold off on the 3rd, but like, I feel like it's just gonna happen. Like, it's just gonna be boom, boom, boom. Look at that. You went 2 years, 2 years, man.
Bro, yeah, man. You gotta get to the point where you're outnumbered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, then at that point, we've already talked about it. Then I'm done for sure. I'm scheduling the snip right after. Like, it's like, the kid's born. Yeah.
Listen, that's what I did. It was like a couple months after, I was like, it's over. Never hitting that reset button again.
Yeah. All right. Salesforce, if you're listening to this, I'm going to let the paternity get through, but you might have to do this again. Sorry. I'm just letting you know. Like, one more time. I think you guys might have to.
I knew, just like you're saying, man, that experience in the field, I knew my certifications weren't going to be enough. I needed to do what others weren't willing to do to get out there. So one of the things that I did, I went to Salesforce. I went to UiPath. I went to ServiceNow, and I downloaded their platforms. I was using them and trying to get certifications, trying to get, familiar with it.
Learn how it works. Oh my God.
And wherever I got traction, the more I would spend more time there. If I got a meeting with someone, if I got, because I could then, I started updating my LinkedIn saying, hey, look how far I got in, this certification, that certification.
LinkedIn is designed to be the most self-serving platform out there. Use it. Oh, absolutely. My word. Yeah.
Absolutely. So where I landed, because I was getting the most traction, was with ServiceNow. But I started in January and I didn't get a job until May.
Yeah. So I remember you on it for a bit. Yeah.
I literally spent, so I took 19 courses, did 4 certifications in ServiceNow, and I had to pay for the first one. It was $300. And when one of the senior solutions consultants and a manager heard that I paid for one of the classes, they're like, bro, you know what? We have something internal. I can give you some access to these so you don't have to pay for them anymore, but keep learning because you don't know enough for us to let you in. And so I spent.
Hold on, back real quick.
Yes.
That right there. There's something that I've noticed with people, and I get this a lot from y'all. And if you're listening to this and you're in my DMs and you send me some shit DM again on trying to get my business saying you listen to my podcast, bullshit. I know you don't. All right. Because if you did, you know I don't want your services. But what you did is something that I wish they would do. Is it wasn't a false sense of like I care. You were like, I'm going to do the work that you know that I need to do here eventually before I'm even doing it there. And people like, don't do work for free. We're not saying that. But you going in and actually understanding the modules inside of ServiceNow more than me, because I just download ServiceNow just to create a damn ticket so I can show how my automated shit can do it. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I need to learn, right? Like, but even then, that's more than others do, right? And it's like, so you did that. And then what you did on the networking, which is what the point I'm getting at, because I like talking circles. I've also been out of work for 3 months, so give me a break. Where I'm getting at is you gave them something in return. You said, hey, I want to connect with you because of A, B, and C, but I'm actually learning this. As someone who, like, if someone came to me and said, like, hey, I went through this part, and I was like, what else do I need to do? We're going to talk about that. And now we're going to remember and be like, hey, did this person apply? What do we need to do to get them on? Because you're willing to do the work. That's what networking is. Giving something in return to not necessarily get it back. Because then what happens is you connect with good people and it works out tenfold. Because guess what? You got a job out of it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's and I can't say that enough. And I know people hear that and they say, okay, yeah, I got a network.
It's not going to land. You're going to have to, but do it with intent. Do it with intent. Don't just spray and pray. Spray and pray does not work. And I know y'all are spraying and praying. Don't do that. Right now, mind you, if you're in a, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm just like, I can show you a spreadsheet. I have over 840.
Do you have it on you right now? Could you share the screen?
I don't.
Damn it! Oh, darn.
I'm on my work computer. It's
okay. Don't worry about it. Sorry, guys. Dude, connect with Maher on LinkedIn and ask for the spreadsheet. He'll show you.
Dude, and it was useless. It got me like almost no interviews because I was spraying and praying. Yep. So just to validate what you're saying, I mean, it does not work. And I kept track of all this stuff and what contact and who I talked to and how many times and what stage I'm in the sales cycle with them, because that's how I treated it. I treated it like I was running pipe and running a sales cycle with each of these companies and each of these managers and SCs and all that. It was very calculated. It wasn't enough until I figured out I want these three companies, and I've just focused my time and networking on just those 3 companies. And then in the end, I was like, okay, I'm only focusing on one. Yep. And that's
what was that? Because I was sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like it's really good because it's a testament to you, but this is the nugget that people need. What was it that said ServiceNow is it for me? And probably cloud-based, but who was it that you were talking to? And what role did they have? And more importantly, what influence did they have? Because I think that, and you know this, especially in sales, anyone can have any title that they want. I've met jackasses that are CEOs, okay? Like, it doesn't matter, okay? And if you're listening to this and you're offended, you're a jackass, all right? Like, but what happens is there are people who end up at these companies, they might have a lesser title, but they got hella influence. They're the people you want to know. So I bring that up to say, right? ServiceNow, why? And then, yeah, what was the influence, and what was the thing that finally was like, man, all right, I got the momentum? Like, who was it?
Yeah, great question. So I'd say the number one for me was the Gen AI aspect of ServiceNow. Me being close to Gen AI, I mean, it's what I do in my off time. I love it. I track it all. My buddy has an AI startup that I've kind of helped build some cloud infrastructure for him. You know, so I was like, I want to be in that space, but that wasn't just enough. What was enough for me was, where am I getting the most traction? You know, you can have your favorite company or whatever. If no one's getting back to you, what are you doing? You're wasting your time.
I love Salesforce, but like, that wasn't my number one choice. I needed a job. Like,
yeah, it's not enough, man. Because I'll tell you, if I wasn't getting traction with ServiceNow, I would have gone to the other ones. But I didn't get the same traction. So I ended up getting in contact with a senior manager out in the field. And he needed someone for manufacturing. And he's like, I absolutely love you. He kept me on the back burner. And in the end, he's like, dude, you know, I have 2 guys that know manufacturing and know ServiceNow. I can't hire you. He's like, but I love all the effort you've put in. Let me connect you with the director of the San Diego office. And so my first conversation was the top guy at ServiceNow in San Diego.
I'd say, you know, I know I said CEOs are jackasses, but like, it's still an important title. It's not your peer. It's levels above that, right? So yeah, I mean, that matters, of course.
So I mean, through that, you know, I said, listen, I'm willing. Where do you need me? Like, I'll scrub toilets, you know, of the tech world. Where do you need me? Where, if you think I should be in this position, put me in that. If you think I should be in an academy position to learn, let's do that. Sure. So that's when the interview process started, and I said,
oh, beautiful.
I don't want to go to the academy. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, yeah, if you can avoid it. I mean, dude, you look at your accolades. It's like, he's done the damn job. Like, we don't.
And that was the thing. So that was the next nut to crack, is how do I convince them that I can hit the ground running?
I've done it before. Yeah, I don't know that answer. You kind of have to come up with how you're going to prove that. Like, yeah.
And this is where I did my research, in a sense of saying, where are they pouring their money in? And they were pouring their money into Gen AI. So what did I do? Do you know the movie Hidden Figures? Hidden Figures.
I've heard of it. Oh, let me continue talking about it while we do this. Hidden Figures.
The US getting to the moon, getting to space, getting to the moon, and 3 African-American women.
Yep. Yes. Now I know the movie. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So during that movie, and sorry to be a spoiler here, during that movie, an IBM computer came in and no one knew how to use it. And the African-American staff were in the basement, and they were called the calculators, and they crunched the numbers. So when the IBM came in, they were going to get rid of them all. So the director of that was leading the calculators, what did she do? She went to a library that she did not have access to. It was a whites only library, got the language of that IBM computer and learned that entire book. And then she went in and figured it out when even the IBM guys didn't know how to use that.
Which is all the par for the course sometimes, where people who work at the company don't necessarily know how to implement something. I digress. Continue.
So and not to go too much in the story, but basically what she did, she created and carved out a position for herself and everyone else that was going to get let go.
Right.
To run all those servers and the computers and stuff like that. So for me, I became an AI expert, a Gen AI expert, when I really wasn't.
Or at least someone with enough freaking wherewithal to be like, hey, this is how you can apply it. Here's how it works. These are the types of AI you can use. Like, yeah, of course.
So when I got to the demo, I demoed all their new Gen AI Now Assist products to them, and their mouths almost dropped, because they said, the majority of our techs don't even know how to demo this. I mean, not techs, but solution consultants don't even know how to demo this right now.
Because they're so deep in it. They're like, man, I need to be given like the kit. I gotta. Yeah, dude. Oh, I love that for you.
So instead of putting me in a 6-month academy, they literally gave me a senior solutions consultant position because of that.
They did.
And I was ecstatic.
Killed panel.
I didn't think that was going to happen. You know what I mean? I was like, put me in the academy if you want me to, you know, but they're like, dude, no, you did what, and it was a long shot, but it got me the role, man. Yeah.
And let me level set with this, because you're sitting there now you have the confidence. Now you've got it, right? And when you got the confidence, now you start to see where those egos come in. And then people like me are sitting here being like, oh, we did demo. That probably wasn't your best demo ever, was it?
No. I mean, I'm just demoing.
Well, why did it land? Why did it land?
It hit where they needed it to hit. You know, they were bringing
pain
in that could
demo. Gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm obviously leading you to the water, right?
Yeah,
but that's it, right? Is like so much. It's, well, how do you prove that? I'm like, well, and I tell people this, it's either there's a gap in the industry that you need to be able to demonstrate that, or sometimes on the team, like you said, everyone can do this part. We need more people that can have this type of conversation, this perspective, this lens, that whatever. I'm fairly confident, right? Like, I got pulled onto the team because there was a gap. They knew I was coming from the competition that they were trying to take out, and I was a willing and able participant because I had just been fired, right? Like, timing of that, but I still had to come. Guess what I had to do? They gave me a week, because I'm asking for that principal title, right? Because I had my interview process was very similar to yours. Talked to the hiring manager twice. The recruiter called me and said, "What's your number?" Right? Very different conversation, but I still had to deliver in the demo. They gave me their composer tool and said, this is the business scenario. Here's the process. Show us how you would demo this. They gave me nothing else.
Yep.
That's why we get paid what we get paid. And that's why you're not getting the gigs, right? Because you have to be able to deliver, which you did. And I would say a culmination of all your experiences up to this point led to the, good, probably not great demo, because you're probably nervous as shit by the time you had that, to be honest with you, right? But it led to them saying, hey, you're a senior level guy. I'm so happy for you, man. That's awesome. And your product is living proof of, like, do the work before you have the job, and it's just gonna work out for you. It really will. I don't know how else to tell people that when they break into solutions engineering. I'm like, go implement it. Like, go do that before. Yeah. So you did for years. And then you did, obviously, you're working with AE, you did RFPs, did the whole nine. And then you realize, I like helping sell it. And now your gig is, oh, cool, you're sitting shotgun with an AE and you get to listen and do discovery, and you're probably dicking around for a little bit for 15 minutes. You pop on and give the demo, and guess what? Every freaking AE's boss is talking to you, aren't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and it's
amazing,
just, dude. It really is, man. It's an incredible place to be. For those of you that are going after this, like, this is the place to be. It's an incredible,
I love the role.
Position.
It's
to
just
be
tough. It's just tough. It's tough to break in, man. It is.
You gotta put in the work. You gotta choose the few companies. You gotta be, and I hate in this market today, you have to put in the free work. If you're working a full-time job, you got to do it on weekends and nights. You got to do what others are not willing to do. I can't say that enough.
It's doing the role is table stakes now. It is, because there's enough people in the role that aren't doing it. So they need someone that can hit the ground running. And then, just like I said, are you the motivator? Are you the leader? Are you the whatever? Right? I think there's also this notion too that I think people, they're chasing the money, right? You got to work for that. Like, I know the notion of, like, the spoil system. I mean, like, you can listen to Ramsey. Like, what is it? 70% of all the millionaires they, like, manage, like, all of them self-made, right? So don't believe that shit. We're working harder, or if we're not working harder, we're working smarter.
Trying to,
it's not a slight to anyone either, because I think we also had, you obviously, now you're going to come from a place of privilege when you give your advice. I obviously come from a place of privilege. I mean, like, it happens, right? Like, but we didn't get here by accident.
No. And
we fell into the roles by accident, sure, but but we didn't get here by accident. Is really what
it wasn't one decision or one opportunity someone gave us. It was dozens and dozens of decisions, and making a lot of mistakes along the way, and also at the end of the day, not knowing if what you were doing was going to hit the mark.
Yeah.
So I think having these conversations here will help people not waste a lot of time that I wasted, man. I wasted so much time, and I get to catch up now, and be more focused in where I'm moving. But 1 minute I'm like, okay, do I need to go here? Do I need to go there? Do I need to do this? being so new kind of into tech, you don't know. So find people that have gone through this journey, listen to this podcast, because
thanks.
It's gonna
thanks for the plug, bro.
Dude, I mean, that's how I found you. You know what I mean? I found you on here, and the first thing was, you're like, dude, if you're trying to learn UiPath, here's the 20 videos that I made.
Dude, I'm like, literally, I tell people, I'm like, you want to learn tech? You want to learn what people are trying to do? Here's the thing. You want to learn how all these systems work and what they do? Go download a low-code tool, because guess what? You're going to be taking data from A to B, right? It's like Alteryx and all the transformations, the Boomies, blah, blah, blah. I just happen to work at UiPath. They're all the fucking same, all right? At the end of the I don't care what you say. I know there's differentiators. We can talk about the magic quadrants, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, all the same, right? So I sit there and I say, learn this, because I learned what Oracle does. I learned what SAP does. I learned what Workday does. I learned what ServiceNow does. I learned what Jira does. I learned what Twilio does. All of this. You want to know why? Because the person that I was ultimately selling this tool to, right, use that tool day in and day out for some specific business purpose, which then said, oh, what is CRM, right? But you have to be willing to dig into that. And then you also have to be willing to deliver on what the thing is going to do. So I learned how all these texts work. I built it out. So then I said, oh my God, it teaches people also like coding practices and like thinking through, like, oh, I want to automate this thing. Okay, well, what do you have to do? Well, you got to tell your agent what application you're going to interact with. Now I'm digging deep into coding, but I know my shit, right? Yep. That's what I'm kind of saying is like, do that. Don't bullshit it. Because guess what? We're on the other side. We can sniff it from a mile away.
Yeah,
we can.
And there's definitely an element of fake it till you make it. I
am living proof of that.
I mean, same,
I was a consultant at EY for 2 years. I didn't know anything that I was doing, right?
But part of it, you gotta exude that confidence when you're in those meetings, when you're on the demo. They know you don't know their product, but they want to know that you can exude that confidence. And then when they keep drilling you to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to put that in the parking lot and I'm going to get back to you on that. Like, if you're not saying that, you don't know how to say that, start practicing that in the mirror, because that is another essential piece. They know you don't know their product well, so yeah.
It's so funny you say that too, because we'll round out with this. And I was on this Salesforce panel, and I couldn't actually get, this is hilarious because there's actually like a setting you have to set on Salesforce, right, in Composer to say it's like a sandbox, but I didn't download the right version from Salesforce's whatever. So I'm trying to connect it, and I was like, I couldn't get it to work. And one of the SEs who I work with now, Kieran, I love him. He's great. He's so like sarcastic and such a great team lead type dude, and he goes, so why couldn't you connect the Salesforce thing? And I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think I downloaded the wrong version. I think there's a setting that I have to enable, and I just followed through. Why isn't it connecting? Well, there's a token that needs to authenticate and do all that. I'm like, I think there's something wrong with the token. I don't know how to add it. And he goes, I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. That's a fantastic answer. I was not expecting you to say that, right? And I was like, well, I'm being honest with you. Like, I normally can get these connectors to work. I know how they work at, where I was at UI. But taking your experience, it's okay to not know the answer and even give an educated guess. Sometimes that's even more valuable, right? I know it's a pro tip, but just what you're saying is like, that's like the meta, and then take it a step deeper. I didn't know why the connector wasn't working. So I said, I think it's this, but let me get back to you and figure that out. And he said, no, that's exactly why. You just have to do X, Y, and Z. I was like, well, and then I made the joke. I was like, well, this makes my demo a little lackluster, but here we go. Because I wanted to show it all working together. And I literally used UiPath to say what Salesforce was doing. And they're like, that was clever. That was cute.
That's cool.
But it's what you're saying though, is, eventually you get to the point where you have enough knowledge to be the expert.
Yeah. And even then, I mean, with an extensive,
we're still learning all the time.
Company like Salesforce and ServiceNow, when are you going to learn the entire, and by the time you learn it all, they have a new update. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Like literally I'm on pat leave, and like literally our team's shifted already. Like I know our product's going through like an evolution right now. And I'm like, yeah, like finger on the pulse, but an intentional finger on the pulse is I think what you're ending with, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We rounded off forever. I think we can kick it or call it at this point. I'm leaving it all, man. It's the show. I just make sure no cuts. That one random pause we had, obviously cut there. Any last words for anyone here before we go? I think you summarized it, but I just don't know if there's anything else you wanted to leave us with before we round out here.
No, man, I think I tried to summarize it, and you know.
Yeah, we were doing the same thing. We're circling the wagons.
Yeah, we're just
we're shooting the shit. It's all good. If people wanted to connect with you on LinkedIn, would you be cool with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so literally, it's linkedin.com/in/Maher dash Salhani. So what you see on here, you can find him on LinkedIn. Shoot him a connection. He's got a not a small follower count. He's only got that 1,000. Would love to get him to that 3,000. So then eventually people have to it hits follow by default. I learned that actually myself. My friends were giving me shit for it because I have over 3,000 followers, and they're like, we couldn't even connect with you. It hit follow by default. I'm like, well, you can go into the 3 dots and hit it. And they're like, oh, aren't you special? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, come on. It's like, I'm just doing this thing. Anyway, yeah, he's there. Connect with him. Obviously, we chat in the DMs. It's a great discussion. I'm very, very happy for you, man. I think bouncing, in getting into the role and getting in at this level at a company like that is a testament to you. So congratulations to you, man. I think it's a good honor. And I think you did it right. And I think you are a testament to the boot camps do work if you know how to apply the knowledge. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you for your help along that journey.
Oh, dude, no problem. Yeah, I mean, hey, I helped you, and then hey, by the way, networking, how's it work? Hey, you want to talk about it on the podcast? It's not self-serving if I'm helping out first. Like, it's just like, hey, come back and let's do it. And now I got content for whatever month this gets released. I have no idea. Anyway, I'll round it out at this point. I know we're 11 minutes over what we had. I'm sure my son's going to wake up at some point. I know you got kids as well and a job that you're at because I know you're not on pat leave. Once again, I appreciate you for taking the time to share your story. Thank you once again. This has been Maher Salhani. I am KJ. This is KJ's Corner under the I'm Breaking Into Tech umbrella. If you liked it, give it a like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like it, tell us. And if you didn't like it, well, all right, cool. Just don't listen next time. Cool. Otherwise, I will talk to y'all later. Cheers, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.